coming. Hopefully you had a good lunch. Hopefully you enjoyed the morning sessions. We're really excited that you chose to be at our session. We're going to be talking about Community 2.0 today, which is a solution that Kelsey and I are both very proud of. But before we dig into that, let's quickly do some introductions.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kelsey Forbes. I'm on the Consumer Market Insight team at McCormick. So I'm really excited to be talking to you guys this afternoon all about our community with Reach3. So, John.
Hey, everyone. Jonathan Doerr, just call me John. I am Executive Vice President at Reach3 Insights. Also up here representing our sister company, Rival Technologies, which is the platform that we run this solution on. You'll learn all about them as well. In town from Chicago, and yeah, really happy to be here. Kelsey, I assume most folks in this room know or have heard of McCormick. Probably could find the red cap somewhere in your pantry or your kitchen if you looked. But I doubt they know the real extent of your portfolio. So you maybe want to tell us a little bit more about the breadth of all of McCormick, and then talk to us a little bit about the insight function at McCormick.
Yeah, absolutely. So we at McCormick are the largest producer of flavoring products worldwide. We sell our products in over 170 countries. And we really are the global leader in flavor, and we have been for over 100 years. Although I'm sure most of you are most familiar with our iconic red cap herbs and spices, if you're familiar with those. But we actually have a really vast portfolio of other brands, and you can see them on the screen here, many of which are share leaders in their categories. So think, the French's of the world, Cholula, Red Hot, Frank's Red Hot, Lowry's, among others. But what a lot of people don't know about McCormick is that we actually have two different segments. We have the consumer-facing segment as well as an operator-facing segment. And we, on the Consumer Market Insight team at McCormick, service both sides of that business. So we have a set of principles that we really operate against on our team at McCormick, and we have three principles that we kind of hold true and operate against across the organization. The first is really being a champion of bringing consumer voice to our organization. One of our core roles is really about strengthening consumers' relationship with flavor, and we do that by providing this consumer-centric sort of culture back to McCormick. Our second principle is all about turning insight into action. So as I'm sure many of you are familiar, an insights function is all about gaining insights from the field and bringing them back to the organization. But really the more important thing is about creating this story that you can bring back to your stakeholders that will allow them to easily action against them, right? And then lastly, it's all about market dynamics. So we take a more holistic view of marketplace trends to really allow us to better understand and some different growth opportunities for our organization. And we really allow ourselves to succeed by establishing this toolbox of resources, if you will. And this toolbox is really encompassed of a couple of different resources, things like secondary or syndicated data resources, some of our internal proprietary resources like Flavor Forecast or Flavor Radar that you see here, but then also just conducting custom research. But the insights magic really happens when all of those resources kind of work together to allow us to build this holistic narrative to bring back to our organization, right? And our community, as we lovingly refer to as Flavor Nation, you see here, is actually what we're here to talk to you guys about today, and what we're here with Reach3 to speak more about.
Yeah, a lot of great companies on that page. We're happy to be a part of the partnership here. So should we dig into Community 2.0? You guys ready? All right, let's do it. So how about you start by telling us a little bit about the goals of Flavor Nation?
Yeah, so as we set out to build our Flavor Nation community, there were really three goals that we wanted to make sure we accomplished. The first one being, really cultivating our consumer-first culture, and we wanted to do so by having this always-on community that we could tap into whenever we needed. And because we are a global company and our function functions on a global level, we wanted to make sure that our community was global as well. Our second goal was to really support initiative development by providing a vehicle for iterative learning. And then lastly, we wanted to enable customer sell-in by strengthening our knowledge of consumers, strengthening our knowledge of different flavoring categories, and strengthening our knowledge of different specific customer groups.
Perfect. All right, so let's rewind the clocks. Let's go back to 2015 and tell me what Flavor Nation was like in its early days.
Yeah, so about 7 years ago, we established Flavor Nation initially, back in 2015. And at the time, we were really kind of a small-scale community. We were around 400 consumers of what we refer to as flavor enthusiasts, which are exactly as they sound. Consumers who are enthusiastic about flavor and enthusiastic about the flavor they purchase and eat on a daily basis. We were US-based only at the time over the course of the last 7 years with our community. But with that in mind, over that course of the 7 years, we really utilized the community quite a bit, doing over 100 different studies from really small scale, ad hoc, answering some quick questions, all the way through to organization-wide, larger scale projects that really kind of promoted this consumer-centric culture that we were hoping to do.
Awesome. Okay, so high volume of studies, a lot of utility.
Yep.
Let's fast forward from 2015 to 2022. Walk me through what's going on at McCormick and some of the things you started to see with regards to the community.
Yeah, so at this point, over 7 years, the community had really served us well. But we also recognized that there were opportunity areas for us to improve and evolve and make optimizations too. And there were really kind of 3 core areas that we felt like we could make improvements. The first being domestic. I mentioned that our initial community was only US based, so we really wanted to make sure that our community moving forward was more on a global scale. Second, we really felt like we were operating on an outdated communication channel. As I mentioned, we were operating with this community for 7 years. In the world of technology, 7 years is a lifetime, right? A lot changes between now and next week, especially with all the talk of AI and all the things like that. So we really felt like this was an opportunity area to give our community a bit of a facelift. And then lastly, we wanted to improve our speed to insight. Business needs are constantly changing, but the one thing that is always true is our teammates always want insights and they want them fast. So we felt like this was an opportunity for us to make improvements.
Yeah, you were not the first client that's come to us and asked for things faster.
I bet we won't be the last.
Okay.
Yeah, so we really, our opportunity at hand was really to evolve our community from a US-based platform to sort of establish this next generation global platform that leveraged conversational research to really drive actionable insights for our organization.
Okay, tell us about Flavor Nation today, or what we refer to as Community 2.0.
Yeah, so Flavor Nation 2.0, what we're working with you guys at Reach3 on, is now global in scale. We operate in the US, Canada, UK, and Australia, and we've definitely grown as well with 2,500 members globally. We're also operating with a mobile-first platform, which John will actually talk to in a little bit more detail in just a second. And we've also modernized our communication techniques to a more conversational approach, if you will, that's really kind of strengthened the relationship that we have with consumers and made it a little bit easier to reach them.
Awesome. Global, mobile, conversational. So that's perfect. That is some of the key pillars of Community 2.0. Let's dig a little bit deeper about what Community 2.0 means in relation to probably what you all think of when you think of a traditional online insight community. So 4 key pillars. First one, a mobile and member-first platform. This means going beyond mobile optimized and having a truly mobile-first, native mobile platform that you're conducting the community on. Number 2, conversational research techniques. We're trying to make the research experience, participating in research, more human, more real, more conversational. Less like taking a test, more like having a chat with a friend. I'll tell you all about what that means in practice in a second. Third pillar, modern community management. Basically, gone are the days of monthly sweepstakes and quarterly newsletters. We need to do a bit more than that if we really want to fulfill on the promise of engagement and member health when it comes to insight communities. And finally, thinking about the next generation of reporting. challenging what a research report can and maybe should be by bringing new deliverables to the fold that go beyond everyone's favorite PowerPoint. So let's break these down. First one, new platform. So I don't have to show you this, but I'll give you the data anyways from the Pew Research Center. Smartphones are ubiquitous. Okay? I read an article that says you shouldn't try to say a difficult word while presenting, but I think I said that correctly. Really, again, we talk about mobile optimized versus natively mobile. It is really critical in today's day and age to have a platform that was built from the ground up, meant to be participated on a mobile device. Tied to mobile, SMS over email. So on our Flavor Nation community today, those 2,500 folks from those 4 markets, no email involved. All of those folks are a text message away from receiving a survey invitation, a request to participate in a diary or a mission, or even receive one of our sharebacks or communication updates. So that combination of text-based alerts along with mobile-first exercises is really important. So you can look at this study here that was done by the Wharton School of Business last year. This was not even in the realm of marketing research, but what they effectively found is that people are more likely to be honest and revealing when talking on their mobile device than when talking on a computer or laptop. So really critical that we have mobile-based research. You're going to get deeper insights if you meet folks on the mobile phone. And finally, because we have mobile, because we can do things like SMS, we could also think through new recruitment channels. So as we built this community, we of course relied on our wonderful panel partners. Hopefully some of them are in the audience here today. But we were also able to leverage things like social media-based recruiting to bring folks in. We ran ads on Facebook, we ran ads on Instagram stories. We found flavor enthusiasts that way. And the goal there is really to bring new voices into the research process and bring some of those atypical research participants into our community so that their voice will be heard too. So at the end of the day, this is that Rival Technologies platform. This is what it's all about, is really going beyond an email-based, long-format survey experience on a community to really an SMS-based mobile experience.
Yeah, and if you don't mind me interjecting,
Please.
We have really come to love this SMS communication. If you think about it, I mean, your phone's always in an arm length away, right? And if you're anything like me, answering a text is a lot easier than opening up your email and answering a full email, or in this case, a survey. So we've really found, one, speediness with this SMS technique has been huge, and we're able to, in real time, see those responses come in and track those responses through means of kind of that top line report as those responses are coming in. So going back to that factor of that we were trying to improve of speed, we can really see those responses coming in fast, in real time, and kind of provide updates to our team as those responses come in, which has been really great.
Just a lot less clutter in text messaging than there is in our personal inboxes, right? So Kelsey and I even texted each other today to find each other on the grounds of the conference hall. If we tried emailing each other, we might not even be in the same room right now. So, second key component of Community 2.0 is being conversational. So what we mean by this is not ditching the rigor and the robustness of our survey design, but just really trying to evolve the way we address Q&A, the way we treat human beings on the other side of this solicitation, to speak to them the way they're used to speaking in their day-to-day life with friends and family. So we do a lot of things. We simplify the questions we ask. We rethink scales. We try to bring emoji culture into the fold. We might involve GIFs or affirmations, right? We are trying to make a survey experience, participating in research, feel less like a test and feel more like you're having a conversation with a friend. That's when we get system one thinking. That's when we get the walls to come down and people really just start responding authentically and organically. So that is effectively what we mean by being conversational. You'll still recognize it as a survey when you look closely, but instead of going page by page, grid buttons, radio buttons, this is more so masked as a chat-style conversation that is still asking Q&A to get at business objectives and questions. Because it's a mobile platform, we then also hook into the natural capabilities of a smartphone. So right there inside your survey, why not capture photo? Why not capture video and try and bring that media-rich feedback in line right there alongside traditional data inputs?
Yeah, we've really loved this conversational aspect of collecting insights. I love getting the questionnaires or the surveys back from these guys to review because it just looks and feels so much like conversations I have with my family and friends through text messaging, right? With gifts being sent, but to John's point, we're also getting those really in-depth insights along the way as well. And to his point on, embedded photo and video capabilities as well, they've really taken out the complexities that tend to be associated with asking for like video tutorials from consumers in the moment. They're able to, as an example, we asked consumers to go to a store for one of our consumer or community-based projects. We asked consumers to go to a store and record a selfie video of themselves. And it's such a familiar thing that consumers are doing on a daily basis because of things like social media or FaceTime, that in the moment they're able to easily record a video and then just send it right through as an SMS, which makes it so uncomplicated and takes away the complexity on even the reporting end of it too.
Yeah, guys, the goal here is really, in a really well-designed survey or conversational exercise, you'll get the quant that you expect, the measures you need. You'll get some qual mixed in alongside that, as well as that context. So video and photo, it's more than just vanity. We're actually seeing that video-based open-ends can be a 700% longer word count than a typed open-end. So there's more insight, right? When you think about an unstructured response, more is more, right? Like someone giving you a longer verbatim is better for us to analyze. So that is really what this is all about. It's not throwing out everything we know and love about research and what we've been trained to do. It's just about evolving the style of our Q&A, mix in photo videos, and make it feel like a conversation, not like a soul-sucking survey experience. All right, number 3. Modernizing community management. What this really means for me is, going beyond the lip service of community management and taking it seriously. So it starts with actually getting rid of the things that just don't work, that just don't have much ROI. So I've been fortunate enough to be running Insight communities since the year 2013. I've done communities for NFL fans, for new moms, for front of house and back of house operators, now for McCormick. And we've seen the stats for many years now. People do not go to the portal. They're going to engage with you through your invitation. They're going to come into your exercise. And then even if you try and redirect them to the portal afterwards, it's a game of how fast can they X out. So it starts with removing things that don't work. Community 2.0, no panel, no hub, no app needed, right? That gives us more time, more money, not spending on things that don't work, but spending on things that do work. I joked before, we can't just do monthly sweeps, we can't do quarterly newsletters. We need to be a little bit better than that. We need to fulfill on the promise of intrinsic rewards for our community members. That's what they agreed to. That's what we promised when they signed up. So we do things like digital newsletters. And actually what's cool about those is those can be distributed just like the chat exercise that they give us feedback and data in. So the same vehicle that we're collecting data in becomes a vehicle that we share back with them. We could also share, many things within a survey. So we talk about being conversational. That could be affirmations. That could be congratulations. That could be things like sharebacks. Share a snippet from a previous study. Share, your favorite concept after you've already gotten their response to a concept. Bias them. It really is just a little bit more about thinking consistently about how you share back with people and not just doing it on such a cadenced schedule. So again, what's the goal here? Modernize community management. It's all about being creative. It's all about variety, and it's all about having fun. I think sometimes we tend to take ourselves too seriously as researchers. There's really no reason why we can't have a little bit of fun, particularly when it comes to sharing back with your community members who do so much for you. Final point is innovating on deliverables. What we mean by next-gen reporting and strategic storytelling, it's really about this idea of a suite of deliverables, being more than just PowerPoint. So I'm not saying we don't do PowerPoint because we do a lot of PowerPoints, but it's all about just bringing new deliverables into the fold so that when Kelsey and her colleagues are sharing out insights from this solution, there's a variety of things going out across the enterprise and the business. In these activities, we're getting traditional data, we're getting this new age media rich data. So if we're not relying on PowerPoint, what about something like a digital storyline? What about something like video show reels? There's alternative solutions to PowerPoint that can be used in the right moments to share out insights, keep things fresh, hopefully show your stakeholders that researchers are being innovative too. But again, it's not about replacing PowerPoint, it's about PowerPoint and.
Yeah, I mentioned McCormick has been around for a long time, right? So we're a bit of an old school company in some ways, shapes, forms. So we love our PowerPoints, right? But we've also really enjoyed the opportunity that Reach3 has provided at showing our organization different ways that we can tell the same story, or oftentimes supplementing our PowerPoint that we distribute to the organization with some of these different reporting techniques, which has been really awesome.
Yeah, awesome. So, to recap, what is Community 2.0? It's a mobile-based platform. It's using SMS over email. It's being conversational with your members, your participants, your respondents. Hate that word, but that's it's about modernizing community management, effectively not being lazy, not checking the box of community management, but taking it very seriously. And it's about bringing new deliverables into the fold for your stakeholders and your customers. So, let's talk outcomes of all these pillars of Community 2.0, and then let's also talk some use cases. So, some of our stats. So, a lot of reasons why people commission insight communities is because you can get a more engaged consumer target. You can realize some response rates that are going to be significantly higher than you might see through an email customer list or through a panel partner. So 24% response rate is what you'll typically see on a traditional email-based community. Flavor Nation today has been seeing 46% response rates. So nearly 50% response when you go mobile and when everything's based on an SMS alert as opposed to another email drowning in a Gmail box. We're also seeing really high satisfaction. So 7 in 10 saying this is better than other surveys. More than 8 in 10 having satisfaction with their experience on Flavor Nation. And here's some quotes in their own words. We swear these are real. Jenna can vouch for that. What I love about these is they're playing back the things I've been talking about today. Feels like I'm texting with you in live time. Feels like I'm talking to a friend. They say the word conversational back to us. They say I enjoy them. I'd interact with you every day. Like that is what it's all about. We are treating the members right. They'll treat us right in return. And we need them to, because communities by their very nature are longitudinal. We need these people to participate over time. So Kelsey, before we let them go, you want to talk to us about just some of the ways you've been using the new Flavor Nation recently?
Yeah, happy to. So what you see on the screen here are just a couple of examples of how we've kind of tapped into the community over the last couple months. The first that I'll highlight is this sort of pantry audit. So we use the community to reach out to consumers to better understand the flavoring products that they have in their pantry, their refrigerator, their cabinet, and kind of compare that to what we at McCormick think that they have, right? Because those things don't always tend to line up. So we asked the community members who were taking this survey, can you take pictures of your pantry, of your fridge, show us the spices that are in your cabinet, and let us know how you use them on a daily basis to really help us better understand how consumers are leveraging their flavoring products at home. And then the second one in the middle here, we leveraged the community for a new product assessment, actually within the store. So we recently launched a condiments product, and we wanted to better understand how consumers were kind of perceiving this product that they maybe would come across in store. So we asked our community members to go to their local store, try to find this product on shelf, and as I mentioned earlier, we had them do kind of a video tutorial, a selfie video of themselves in the aisle, getting their reaction in real time to better understand what they thought of the product, what they maybe thought the product benefits were based on where it was shelved, how it looked, how we positioned it, that sort of thing, to better understand if there were different opportunity areas that we had for this new product launch. And then lastly, messaging testing. This is our most recent project, actually, that we worked on with the community members. And we were testing out different taglines for upcoming ad that is going to be launched via TV and digital. And so we were better understanding through using the community which taglines might resonate more or be more appealing to our consumer base to better understand what we could potentially add into our ad that would be then shown on TV.
Awesome. Yeah, great variety there. Kelsey, thanks for joining me up here today. To everyone in the audience, thank you sincerely for coming. This takes work. This takes nerves. Appreciate you not heckling us. Maybe that'll change with the Q&A. But with that said, we are ready for some Q&A. I think we left 5 minutes. So if you got it, bring it on. But thanks again, everyone. Appreciate it. How's this? Do we call on people? We call, yeah. What's going on their way in the back?
Okay, so how are you leveraging this methodology for flavor innovation, like foresight, right? And how are you accounting for what's going to trend? How are you applying? Because obviously people are talking about what their likes are now, but can you do a little bit of foresight with this?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mentioned that our community is made up of what we call flavor enthusiasts. So these are really people who are kind of on the cutting edge of flavor, who really use flavor most frequently, or would consider themselves enthusiasts. So we have leveraged the community and looked towards using it more to better understand the types of innovation along different condiments, different dry seasonings that are really resonating among our consumer base. If that answers your question.
And do you also offer communication in other languages, considering the demographics of our?
Do you want to take that one?
Yeah, of course. Of course. Yep. Let's go all the way down in front then.
So 2 questions.
Sure.
One is research, one's not. Do the community members get to interact with each other? And the second question is, what's your favorite McCormick spice?
Second one's for, no, we'll take the hard one first. Yes, they can. They can. Select activities, you could still do like a group chat style environment. Think of it like an old school AOL chat room. You could also bring them outside the software if you need to do a special activity like a webcam focus group or something like that. But when they're engaging through most of what you saw through some of those screenshots, demos, that's obviously more of that one-to-one survey interface, data's collected in the back end. Lemon pepper all day.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I didn't take you for a lemon pepper kind of guy. I have a lot
I don't know what that means.
I don't either. I have a lot of favorites. I would say my top favorite is our McCormick Gourmet Peruvian seasoning. If you haven't tried it, recommend it.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey there.
Quick question, is it branded or unbranded?
This community is not branded McCormick, so it's just the Flavor Nation.
Yeah, we had a logo on earlier. You don't need to click
Yeah.
through, but we kind of created our own logo system for the community. So we call it Flavor Nation. That's how our consumers see it, and it doesn't have McCormick logoing on it right now.
It can be. In fact, to be honest, makes the response rates all that more impressive, because generally speaking, a branded community is going to see a little bit higher engagement. They know who's benefiting from this than a debranded community.
Hi, thank you very much. It's a great presentation, and love the whole conversational nature, which makes it feel much more natural, I think, for individuals. I'm wondering on the back end, from a researcher's perspective, how do you analyze those results? Is it akin to looking at verbatims and coding, and how do you pull that all together since now it's in a less structured format?
Yeah, well, we still have the structured responses, right? So hopefully you saw there's still plenty of closed-ended responses, single, multi, ranks, what have you. So you still have the quant data set that you could run through the real-time link, that you could send off for advanced analytics, that you could run in data tables and kind of cut it 6 ways to Sunday. When it comes to photo and video, a little bit of AI built into the back end of the platform. So automatic transcription, so that even your video responses can be sent off for coding or can be reviewed just as a regular open-ended response would. Allows you to not sit and watch hours and hours of video, just actually go find the good ones, right? Hopefully where the respondent's wearing their shirt. So a little bit of AI, but a little bit of just manpower from Reach3 researchers bringing it all together into a cohesive story. I mean, I will say it is more, right? It's not just closed-ended responses and text-based open ends that go into a word cloud. Now you have photo, now you have video. If you're bringing that into the mix, it's more work, but there's a lot more learning to be had from it when you really dig in. Answer your question? Yeah. Right on. Cool.
So this might be more of a question for how McCormick is set up with so many different brands. Do you have one community across all of the different brands, or do you have multiple communities?
Good question. Yeah, we have the one community that we leverage for all of our brands. So, and we've used it for, I wouldn't say every brand just yet. It's still new, but yeah, we have one community that we leverage for across all of our brands.
Awesome. Final one?
Hi, question about, I appreciate the note about keeping the tone conversational, but question about for companies maybe that have a very strong authorial voice, right? So I understand the importance of keeping it lighthearted, but for companies that have a very strong kind of editorial presence, your thoughts on changing that tone and making it more conversational for the purpose of maybe in keeping engagement while nevertheless staying true to the brand?
Yeah, I mean, you have to be very, it's a great question, you have to be very cognizant of your tone, right? The way we are going to speak to Gen Zs is going to be way different than when we talk to financial advisors. Probably we'll scale back the LOLs and the GIFs in that conversation, but I think even with audiences like healthcare practitioners, with financial services, there is an opportunity to at least conversationalize a little bit of the script and the survey, just drop the formality a little bit, and again, without giving up any of the rigor, really any ROR we've done, side-by-sides we've done, really formally academic language versus conversational language, your quant data is not going to change. What you're gonna see is really just better satisfaction, likelihood to participate in the future is higher, and then when it comes to those unstructured responses, you get a little bit more open-ended content. So that's sort of the beauty of it. You're not really going to mess with tracking data. You're not going to mess with NPS scores. There is an opportunity, though, to just kind of kill our gut instinct of overly wording questions and answers. Awesome. Thanks again, everyone. Really appreciate it.
Thanks so much.